here only. Okay, so here, if a carbon dioxide is the problem, okay, CO2 emission is the problem means. So what about the EV versus petrol? So even worst case diesel I have not taken because that definitely is going to be contribute much more pollution than a petrol engine. So I have taken that side a lighter part which is a petrol engine. So if I am assuming that is it is having a efficiency, usually when you are talking about analogies to the fuel economy, we can talk about the efficiency of electrical vehicle. So how much unit per kilometer it consumes. Whereas in case of internal combustion engine or gasoline or diesel engine, going to talk about in the term in the name of liter per kilometer. How much liter per kilometer? So automatically both has to travel certain kilometer. So when we are using a fuel indirectly in the vehicle, it is also going to contribute to the CO2. But whereas when we are using only electricity, in turn the electricity is produced by a majority of the electricity is produced by thermal power plant, which that also going to contribute to the carbon dioxide emission, CO2 emission. So in that case, I have calculated a CO2 emission. Now I compare the particular CO2 emission, okay, with the petrol engine. If you see that it roughly around 410 kilogram of CO2 to 820 kilogram of CO2 per vehicle only. If you are assuming that 20 units per 100 kilometer, nowadays a modern vehicle and all it comes, so it is only consuming around 10 units only, even though a worst case I have taken. So that is 20 units per week, 100 kilometer, whereas in a petrol engine, normally it will take 3 to 7 liters. Suppose even three is very less because no vehicle is giving around 33 kilometer per liter. So if I am taken in the sense that itself 880 kilogram of carbon dioxide per vehicle per year. So this is a very worst case. But whereas in electrical vehicle, very worst case, if I am assuming more amount of unit per kilometer only, it can go up to 820 kilograms. So here a very important justification is given. Instead of using a fuel directly in the vehicle, the fuel can be or whatever may be the fossil fuel or other materials. Okay, say especially like coal, okay, and diesel and gas and power plants. If these are all used in a centralized manner and they have produced the electricity, in only we have to taken care about the pollution of the particular area. But whereas the pollution contribution is it's going to be 50 percentage only because wherever I'm using that in that area, it is completely pollution free. Because very big advantage of any other energy forms, electricity is having a topmost energy. Okay, so because so many energy forms we know, thermal energy, nuclear energy, bioenergy, all this stuff energy available. Why people are very much crazy about converting these things to electrical energy means the electrical energy is completely pollution free. Next form. So and moreover it can be transferred from one place to another place with a less or with a very least infrastructure. So three transmission line alone is capable of transmitting the power. Okay, more than 10,000, 15,000 kilometer. Only we need a substation which can need to boost the voltages only. And wherever we are having this type of energy, so especially hydro power plant, okay, a river is there, falls is there, a huge amount of coal available. So in that case, we can able to erect or establish a power plant there itself. And whatever will be the thermal energy, it will be converted to a electrical energy, and wherever we want, we can able to transfer. That's why the reason why the entire world is crazy about converting electrical energy. One very important calculation also as far as the thermal power plant is you should know as a electrical students. Okay, so because when we are talking about the thermal power plant, we know that as far as India like country, it is comes around 70 percentage. 70 percentage of the power in India is produced by thermal power plants only. If you see any thermal power plant, their efficiency is roughly speaking 40 percentage only. 40 percentage only. So because a huge amount of coal they have used mainly. So in that the efficiency, okay, how much is the efficiency and other things if you consider, it will becomes around 40 percentage only because all the associated equipments, machineries, systems, and all mechanical related. So huge amount of heat will be produced and huge amount of ash also will be produced. So now recently only these type of ash can be used for civil engineering purpose in the name of uh, flash ash bricks. Okay, so this type of bricks is, but it's having some considerable amount of good strength for civil engineering. Now recently only, but earlier this ash and all we have to dispose, we have to dissolve that water in sea water and all they are done. So huge amount of ash will be produced, huge amount of heat will be there. That heat completely will not be transferred. So how much amount of heat that produced in the boiler, okay, in order to create a superheated steam, that temperature, no, that temperature is completely not transferring to the system where the really conversion takes place. If you really want to know in the where the place the conversion takes place is inside the turbine. So because very highly pressurized with the superheated steam is allowed to pass through the turbine. Okay, so automatically that turbine is keep on rotating. So there only because of the expansion with a high pressure and temperature, a sudden expansion takes place, then the energy conversion takes place, the turbine is start rotating. That turbine is coupled in turn to a alternator. So that is how in a thermal power plant is working. So if you see that until that electricity is produced, it is completely, it is a kind of a mechanical system only. Starting from a, we are taken the good quality coal, okay, in the conveyor belt, and we are making it powderized. Okay, there is a mechanical system. We cannot keep the coal as it is. It has to be powderized. Okay, that powder is once again we'll pour it into the below the boiler where we are burning the powderized coal, then it is producing a steam. So steam will be produced in the boiler, water level and all the sludge, all the unwanted salt, etc. that has to be removed. So that water only should be allowed to a boiler for further steam production. So that steam will be, okay, with a high temperature, it will be called as a superheated steam. That steam is straight away allowed to pass through turbine. So if you see all this system, it is having a number of systems. So if you calculate the efficiency of each system, so it maybe comes around 50, 40, 60 like that. So totally, so the entire thermal power plant, okay, especially the mechanical related system, it is comes around 40 percentage only. Okay, so and another one, if that 40 percentage is producing a electricity. Okay, so this 40 percentage, whenever it is transfer, as we are all know that where we are having energy, okay, so there itself we are tapping. Okay, there itself we are converting that to electrical energy. So automatically, we cannot have any big industries nearby like NLC. NLC means, so there is a Neyveli Lignite Corporation. There we are only getting a coal. That coal is in turn used for power generation. So the Neyveli thermal power station. So apart from that, whatever maybe the imported coal from Australia also they are used. So they are producing electricity. So nearby no any big industry. So where it is available, there itself used because of that avoid the transportation cost. Okay, and etc. Okay, so automatically we have to transmit this power. So main load centers next is coming Chennai, okay, Chennai, Madurai, Trichy. So through this main substation, we have to distribute the power to the industries. Then next to the industries, all the domestic and other purposes we have to provide. So if you see that the transmission is there. So we very well we know that as electrical engineer, transmission losses. What is transmission losses? Anyone can answer? What is mean by transmission losses? Why there is a transmission losses? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, anyone can say what is mean by transmission losses? In India, what is the percentage of transmission losses? As per CEA, Central Electricity Authority, CEA, do you know what is the last year's transmission losses, previous year transmission losses? How much percentage? Any idea? Roughly speaking, it is last year it was around 18 percentage. Maybe 1.5 2 months back it was 18 percentage. Earlier it was, so 2 3 years back it was 23 percentage. So out of the produced power, how much we are generating in generating station, in the transmission itself we have lost around 23 percentage. So if you speak, a 40 percentage only is the efficiency of any thermal power plant, and if we are additionally we have to take into the account of these transmission lines, which is comes around account of 23 percentage or 20 percentage roughly, means you see how much is that. Then apart from that, every appliances, every devices, every electrical related equipments, they are not also 100 percentage efficiency. Say for example, we are all used incandescent lamp. So in that incandescent lamp, so the main purpose of using that to produce light only. Is it producing only light? Apart from that, it is producing enormous amount of heat also.
Mm.
Yes,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yes. Apart from that, enormous amount of heat also. Suppose if you say fan, it is exclusively used for circulating the air. Circulating the air. Whatever the air is available, it has to keep on circulated. Is it only doing that? It is also getting heated. So the heat on the particular fan, okay, it is unwanted. So if you see the efficiency of all the appliances, devices, equipments, that's also maybe comes around 90, 85 percentage. If you have taken everything, I am spending 100 rupees for electricity, means finally I am receiving a electricity which is equal to 20 rupees only. See, around 60 to 80 percentage we are lost. So will you give anybody to 100 rupees and you will accept on return 20 rupees? We won't do. But in electricity we are doing, because the main advantages is whatever maybe the energy form we need, we can able to convert. If I am having electricity, I can able to use that electricity, produce thermal. I can able to produce cool. I can able to do some work in the motor. I can produce magnetic field. I can produce a chemical reaction in battery when we are charging. So why, even though this much low efficiency, with this much sacrifice, we are producing, the entire world is crazy about electricity, means because of it is very big advantages that it can be converted to any other energy form very easily, provided the particular appliances or particular devices there. So if electricity is there, I can make my room very hot. I can make my room very cool. I can able to do a lot of work. Okay, I can able to lift water. I can able to even ground water. I can be able to store the water. All the things, all the works, all the energy form. Okay, that I can able to realize if electricity is. That is the reason why the entire world, even though other forms of energies are available, we are not interested in using that in the same form. We are very much interested in converting them to a electrical energy. Okay, so in this case, so if this much of what I can say, pollution, okay, CO2 emission is allowed, then it is not possible. That is the reason why, if in order to make it off 50 percentage, we are going for a electrical vehicle. So we cannot go directly to the electrical vehicle. As a transition, first we are going for a hybrid electrical vehicle. But our foremost aim, our final aim, is to convert all the transportation engineering to all the transportation related vehicles to a electrical vehicle. Okay, that is the thing you should know, because this is very important justification. Because very often, maybe when you are going to, so as I already told, so when you are going for any interview here after this 8th semester and all, so when they coming to know that you have undergone a course called hybrid electrical vehicle, so they may be shoot a question to you like this. Okay, electrical vehicle means for that also electricity we needed, no? So that electricity in turn we are mainly depend on fossil fuels only, or coal only. Then what happens? So these are both are same. Why? What is the advantage? Like that they may be asking question. There you have to explain like this. Okay, there you have to explain like this. So that electricity need for electrical vehicle, when you are producing in a centralized manner, that is in a generating station, the pollution, okay, or the amount of carbon dioxide that we are going to liberate is going to pick up of 50 percentage. So that 50 percentage only may be a needed immediate strategy. Then we are talking about least carbon dioxide. So automatically summary. What is a managed charging option is we can go for a least CO2 and lowest cost tariff. Suppose mainly we have framed a strategy in such a way that off-peak charging. Off-peak charging means in the late night. Okay, so whenever you're going for any plug-in hybrid electrical vehicle, we will prefer the charging during the ideal time, during the night time only. So they will be called as off-peak charging. So at that time, majority of the lighting load, industrial load, agricultural load also will not be there. A huge amount of power will be available that can be used, and that can be fixed with the lowest tariff, okay, cost of energy. So in turn, that energy also in effective manner used, and available distribution capacity off peak charging. And now once again that will be going to be give a solution for without changing the existing distribution transformer and all. Of course, definitely we have to go for a replacement of transformer whenever the one third of the house is start having electrical vehicle, with the assumption that one fifth of the connections in a local transformer, they are having a electrical vehicle. Suppose 100 houses are given means 20 electrical vehicles only is there means without having any additional transformer and all, using half peak charging method alone we can able to manage the situation, that is called available distribution capacity. Only when it is go beyond that only we have to go for take into the account of considering erection of a new transforms. Okay. So yes. So yeah. So now as we have elaborately discussed, so very importantly now we are coming to the transition that after the attempt of 1997, okay, electrical vehicle that fails, miserably fails, not able to take off. So after that, they decided to, as I told, hybrid electrical vehicle. So that hybrid electrical vehicle, it is having another phase that is called retrofitting. Retrofitting, that is, I already very clearly explained. Retrofitting nothing but it is not a by manufactured electrical vehicle or hybrid electrical vehicle. Whatever with the internal combustion engine, that is gasoline or diesel engine vehicle, so we are going to convert them. Additionally, we are fitting like how we are fitting like a gasket to our car, especially Maruti 800 and another one variant. It's the okay. So Maruti Alto. So these type of cars you can see that very often even manufacturers are manufactured with the gaskets and all because that engine is very much accepted. So likewise, a retrofitting technology is already a vehicle is there which is about to completion of the cycle, that is end of the life period. Some 15 to 20 years means only the vehicle will come and its engine will come. At that time, instead of condemn the vehicle and condemn the entire chassis, we can able to convert them as a electrical vehicle or hybrid electrical vehicle. That type of technique is called retrofitting technology. As far as the syllabus that not covers anything about the retrofitting, but that is a very important step or important measure when we are talking about carbon dioxide, because whatever maybe the variant nowadays it's coming, it is not totally affordable by the common people. So common people they have, say, as I told Maruti 800, some who are less than 5 lakh vehicle only they have. So if you want to, they want to switch over to a hybrid electrical vehicle or electrical vehicle. So minimum they have to spend around 10 lakh rupees. So good mileage or good range of charging. So for 200 kilometer for one charging, that means they have to go for another 15 lakhs rupees. So this is totally not affordable. Instead of that, it's a new technology that came is a retrofitting technology. Okay, that retrofitting technology it offers a different solution with the existing vehicle without changing the chassis design and all. Only thing is they are going to incorporate a motor, a power converter unit, and battery pack. By that, they can able to convert the vehicle as a hybrid electrical vehicle with a minimum hybridization of 15 percentage to up to some 50 to 60 percentage of hybridization. It is absolutely possible. Okay, so in that case, they have to understand. So that's what are all the needs only I have explained. As a customer needs financial goals. So definitely the fuel economy. So whatever the fuel they are used, in that they can see the fuel economy. Earlier, they used completely diesel or petrol. Now, portion of the propulsion power will be taken care by the battery. Okay, so that means electrical vehicle motor concepts. So automatically, so it will be come down. Financial goal will be reached, and sustainability of goal also is there. So it can sustain. So whatever may be the assured performance or improved fuel economy will be sustained until the particular hybridization percentage of hybridization kit is working. It is keep on going to have the same thing. Okay, and vehicle end of life. So very importantly, when they're going to for a end of life of vehicle, say for example already 20 years 25 years run, so there is no any further use of engine, or if you use the engine mileage is very very poor, means we can able to completely remove that and we can able to fix complete electrical vehicle without any chassis. So you may be asking one question. So definitely I am expecting this question whether a government norms is permitting that. If you see that AIS, automotive industry standards 1 to 3, okay, 2 and 3, so these are all the new norms, okay, that is as per the government of India they announced. It is permitting, it is highly permitting, they are recommending, they are legalized. Earlier there was no any such standards. After that automotive industry standards 1 to 3, in part 2 and 3, if you see that they are given a very good guidelines, okay, for getting approval for these vehicles. So what are the things, how long, how many years old, okay, so based on that how much hybridization, very detailed information is available. I will share that once you all formed a group. Okay, so that information as electrical engineer you should know. And next one is society needs. So because mainly public health, climate change in elaborate manner, we already discussed that. Okay, how it is, how much we are damaging. Okay, so especially with the greenhouse gas emission, mainly on CO2. Okay, how much it is need? Definitely it needs. Society needs. We can't deny that it is definitely need. And governments need. Governments need also GDP growth, crude oil consumption. You know that as India like country, we are not having a very good oil reservoir. Majority of the crude oil consumption is from the Gulf countries only, as well as from other European countries only. So automatically, a huge amount of importing these are all burden. And another one is it is a country like India. We towards marching towards independence on all the resources. It is not advisable. So definitely we have to go for reducing not only crude oil consumption, coal, especially Australian coals, which are having a very high content of carbon. Okay, so that type of thing, we are huge amount we are importing. Even a small delay or small availability problem is comes, then automatically that will impact in the on industry side and power supply side and entire nation's GDP growth. So automatically government also needs, okay, they want to, that's why they are regularized and they have incorporated that automotive industry standards. AIS 1 to 3, especially part 2 and 3, it is exclusively described about the retrofitting technique, especially without going for manufacturing of new electrical vehicle and hybrid electrical vehicle, how to convert the existing vehicles as a hybrid electrical vehicle, a high electrical vehicle, which are in the need of completion of period, that is end of life. Then industry needs. The industry needs. So industry is also the need. Okay, so because it is totally inevitable. Because already we know that the total reservoir is 1,300 billion a barrel of oil only. So in that we are every day we are using 85 million barrel of oil. So definitely it maybe comes around another 40-45 years, provided the without changing or without alternation in the existing consumption. If it is exponentially increasing, automatically that will very drastically reduce the years, and maybe another 30 years, 35 years only it's come. So the next, the last drop of fuel. So in natural process also, it is not going to be get a new, okay, so this type of oil, okay, formation of oil will not be taken that much quickly. So we are in the very edge of movers, so leadership position. So industry also needed, because in industries also they are using a huge amount of commuting vehicles, transportation for taking their goods and bringing raw materials and etc. So they are also depend on the complete transportation on the diesel engine or gasoil engine. So for a multi-axle vehicle and all, so they are that type of development, that is a transition from this extra existing conventional vehicle to electrical vehicle and hybrid vehicle is must and inevitability. So these are all the things. So if you see that here one graph is shown. So in that, so if you see that out of that fuel price per capital income, so in India like country, we are around spending around 16.7 percentage is exclusively for this type of fuel price. So out of my earning, every average, it is an average only, 16.7 percentage of our income is going for this type of fuel prices. So if it is can be cut down to 50 percentage, okay, if you see that 8 rupees and like. So if you see all other country compared to all other country, India is spending because in their capital income is more. In that their spending percentage will be less only. But whereas our income is very less, in that if you are spending this much fuel price, that it will be increasing. So this is another one reason automatically for a GDP growth and all, because this cost and all is finally is going to a maybe to the government and as well as to the oil companies from where we are getting this oil. Okay, and these are all the some hard facts we already discussed. Okay, and so types of retrofitting. So when we are talking about the hybrid electrical vehicle, so by means of not only by means of a new and uh, exclusive design for hybrid electrical is permitted, there is also possibility of converting the existing vehicle to hybrid electrical. So in that case, two types of retrofitting is possible. One is as a hybrid electrical vehicle, and another one is as a full electrical vehicle. So in hybrid electrical vehicle means in which electric drivetrain is added to an existing vehicle. That means it supplements the internal combustion engine additionally. So it will take a portion of the propulsion power that is created by the existing internal combustion engine, and it is start doing adding the particular. So this is usually torque assist system. Automatically what will happen, fuel economy will be increasing. So earlier, so in this case it need not to be sometimes even a plug-in hybrid electrical vehicle, a hybrid electrical vehicle. So whatever with the internal combustion engine, it will be connected to a additionally coupled with an alternator that will generate electricity that will charge this battery. In turn, that battery will supply a motor automatically, which will be very much useful, especially when any braking occurs, we can able to get back the power. Okay, power can be fed back to the source. That is called regenerative braking. Already you all studied, in the power electronics as well as in the electric drive. Okay, so and another one is a fully electric. So I am completely removed all the complete internal combustion engine arrangement and its setups. Now I have incorporated with a electric drivetrain system. That is nothing but motor, a power controller, and as well as I'm having a battery pack. Okay, and whatever may be the charging methods. So in that case, it is completely regulated by the automotive industry standards 123 part 3. Hybrid electrical vehicle, as I told, no, IAS 123 part 1 and 2 is supporting, and it's detailedly described about the hybrid electrical vehicle. But whereas AIS 123 part 3 is exclusively for the full electrical vehicle. So there is a very good solution for Asian countries, that is moving from a existing vehicle to a hybrid and electrical vehicle. And very importantly, when we are talking about the hybrid electrical vehicle, so it is very much important to understand the drive pattern. Okay, drive pattern in any region. See, this drive pattern may be vary from urban to rural, metropolitan cities, and so it is vary from one place to another place. Okay, what is the geographical location? Okay, where the population, how much is the population, how much is the crowd, so it depends upon that the urban drive pattern will be varying. So here I have shown a typical urban drive pattern. That is nothing but from a vehicle, starting of the vehicle, okay, it is taken up to 2000 seconds. So 2000 seconds it is taken. You can able to, if you are divided by 60, you can able to get in terms of minutes. Okay, in time, once again, if you are divided by 60, in terms of hours, you can get. Okay, so if you see there, at any time, any time, it is not crashed more than 55 kilometer. That is a very important thing we have to see in urban drive pattern. My speed, okay, it is not exceeding, okay, 55-60 kilometer. So that is why I used to say nowadays people are buying a 350 cc, 400 cc, 350 cc, okay, huge pickup, and if the kilometer maximum kilometer per hour is 200 like that. But as far as the even if you used in urban drive pattern, maybe that can be very much applicable in a national highway drive patterns. Okay, so where the 6 lane, okay, at least 4 lane is there. Okay, national highways and all, it may be used. But whereas for the urban drive pattern, if you see that even it maximum of 55-60 kilometer only average. Okay, average. Maybe a sudden very less second, 10 second, 15 second or 20 second, he can go up to 80, 90 kilometer, then we have to come back only. So, and that is the reason why we are wasting as far as the Indian road condition and Indian population and its drive pattern, exclusively for a drive pattern concern, that is a very waste only. Automatically, if a CC is increased in conventional vehicle, automatically what will happen? The mileage of the vehicle will be also coming down. If you go for 350 cc means that vehicle roughly speaking around tenth, but divided by tenth, maybe 35 kilometer only it will give mileage. Okay, if you go for a 200 cc, then automatically it will be a little more. 100 cc means you can. So where 350 is the breaking point. So above which it will start divided by 10. Okay, and etc. Okay, so this is how we have to understand. Okay, so okay, let us forget about that particular CC and conventional vehicle. Here this pattern is exclusive. Why it is very much important is, so if you see that during out of 2000 seconds, so many times, okay, so many times it is drastically come to a rest position. Say for example, in any signal or any place where traffic congestion is there, so automatically that particular vehicle has to come to rest. It has to be ideal for some seconds, then it has to go for accelerating further, and very often it has to come for braking. Okay, so if you see that after exactly from I can say that around 190 seconds, 190 to 200 seconds, it was kept ideal, maybe a traffic congestion and all. So after that, suddenly it is increasing, but it is not straight away increasing. Once again, it is braking. So if you see that this pattern is having very often the ideal time is the ideal time. So we will come to end, stop, and it has to start. Then apart from that, very often there is a braking also is there. So this type of drive pattern, hybrid electrical is very much suitable. Why I am saying is, when we are going for ideal, automatically as I already told, when the vehicle is not in the moving condition, so even if you keep on the engine, automatically the fuel consumption will be same only. In order to keep running that particular IC engine, so we have to spend the same amount of fuel only. But whereas during the time, if you switched off, when we are need, if we are switched on using electrical motor, then electrical motor is capable of immediately pick up power, and very importantly, even at a standstill, it can produce a torque. It's a very important difference between a internal combustion engine and electrical motor. Using electrical motor for power propulsion is IC engine at standstill, it cannot produce any torque. Okay, unless otherwise the IC engine keep on has to move, run. Okay, then only I can able to produce a torque. But whereas electrical motor, even at standstill, it can produce torque. Okay, huge torque. So automatically, so that's a concept where we are using when we are talking about the ideal stoppages. After the ideal stoppage is over, maybe in a signal or immediately I can able to use the motor to start the engine. After that, I can start engaging my internal combustion engine for further power propulsion. Okay, likewise, whenever you are braking, if you see that exactly at 250 seconds, from 55 kilometer to it drastically it's coming down and it is reaching. So it is kind of a deceleration. So it is nothing but simply if I'm cut down the supply to a electrical unit, so it will be very drastically coming down, okay, and reach speed zero, okay, because of the huge weight, okay, all the moment of inertia and etc. will be borne by the external resistance, okay, that will be offer the resistance for the movement of the vehicle. So automatically, so this time, if from this period to this period, okay, I can able to use this energy. I can able to get back. Okay, I can able to get back. This is called regenerative braking. So whenever a vehicle from a particular kilometer to coming down drastically, coming to rest position, okay, so that is kind of deceleration is there. So that is speed. Okay, it has to be reduced. So during that time, I can able to get back the energy and fed back to the source. That is nothing but I can able to store it in battery. But whereas this type of opportunity is not available in existing internal combustion engine or gasoline engine. So that is the reason why. So for this type of urban driven pattern, especially this typical urban pattern, so hybrid electrical vehicles are contributing more. That is what two boxes that is explaining. One is during acceleration. What happened during acceleration? So motor is intelligently assist the engine. So during the acceleration, if apart from the main combustion engine, so it is assisting. Okay, engine needs to generate a less torque automatically that lowers the engine RPM. So it is saving the fuel. During the braking, motor becomes an electrical generator. That is called here mentioned regenerative braking. You are all know that as electrical engineer, regenerative braking. So automatically, instead of wasting the particular energy, it is converted as electricity and stored it in a battery or whatever may be the energy system, whether it is an ultra capacitor or other forms, we can able to store it. So in this urban drive pattern, if I am implementing the hybrid electrical vehicle concept during acceleration and during braking, I can able to save one aspect save fuel and another aspect we can able to save the energy in battery system. So automatically this energy when the battery needed to provide energy, it can help. Okay, so this is what very important. So this is the reason why instead of switch over from existing or conventional method to uh, electrical vehicle directly, even a hybrid electrical vehicle in between state, okay, transition, okay, that also will be definitely helpful. Okay, so that we are justifying here. Any clarification up to this? Any clarification? Any clarification up to this? Hello?
Sir,
Clear.
Yes, Mohammed Saif. Yes. Any clarification?
sir, no clarification, sir. Yeah.
No clarification. Okay. Okay, we'll move further. Maybe another 5 minutes. So next we'll see what are all the components. Okay, what are all the components, especially as a hybrid electrical vehicle. In electrical vehicle, what are all the components? There are six different components are there. There are six different components are there. I am going in an anti-clockwise direction. The first one, when you are going for a hybrid electrical vehicle, apart from the existing or apart from the internal combustion engine, there is a integrated motor generator. Okay, that is a very important component when you are talking about a hybrid electrical vehicle, because that motor should have a very high RPM and torque. That motor should be having a regenerative facilities that is capable of acting as a generator during the braking system, during the braking of vehicle, and wide band for continuous power. See, it has to offer wide band for continuous power. And another one is very important thing is robust wire harness. So there are a huge amount of because in electrical vehicle concept, what's the problem is as well as in industry or in domestic application, wherever we are using motors, that will be with a without any movement, without any vibration externally, it will be operating. But whereas when the vehicle is moves, it has to exposure. It will be exposure to all these type of vibration, temperature changes, a lot of other not a common issue, which are all not common in existing method. So that has to be exposure to this type of wiring also. So in that case, temperature, environment, separation between the signal and power lines, these are all the things. A robust wire harness system should be there. And next to that is a drive controller. So especially when we are operating the motor, So whether the particular machine has to be operated as a motor or generator, that controller has to decide. So based on that, whether we are going to give acceleration or deceleration or applying brake. So, and apart from that, whether that motor is a DC motor or AC motor, accordingly we need AC DC conversion or DC to DC conversion. Okay. And very importantly, BMS, that is battery management system with active balancing. So as I already told during my introduction class itself, batteries, okay, that will be performing very well as per the norm or as per the specification only in the certain temperature range. So normally between 15 to 45 degrees Celsius only it will normally behave. Whenever a temperature goes above 45 or goes below 15, automatically we need a battery management system, that means external cooling or external hot arrangement in such a way only I can able to get assured performance. Otherwise, the energy density in the battery will be drastically coming down. So even though the state of charge of battery is good at the time of starting, it will be very drastically coming down, and finally it will reach very less value. Beyond that, we cannot operate. So the state of charge of battery, okay, is like it is like a opened fuel tank, opened fuel tank. Okay, up to 15 to 45 degree, it will like similar to a closed fuel tank. If you're after fuel the car or after fuel your two wheeler and all, if you are close to that, okay, I'll get. If you are open that, what will happen? It will be evaporate. It will be evaporate. So my fuel will be evaporate. After that, after certain kilometer, I can able to realize that it cannot go further. So it is like when we are exposed to the temperature below 15 degrees Celsius and above 45 degrees Celsius, it is exactly similar to the situation of a opened fuel tank. So I cannot get. So it completely drastically coming down energy, okay, specific energy density, and all the power, okay, everything will be coming down. So my electrolyte will be highly diluted. So because of that, state of charge will be very drastically coming down. I cannot able to continuously operate the vehicle. So the drive controller has to taken care about whether what type of power required, AC to DC or DC to DC, and battery management system. Okay, and especially with the 48 and 12 volt state of charge monitor, the state of charge will be always monitored, and it will be whether it is a torque assisting or regenerating mode switching. So the drive controller is directly related to one side motor generator and another side battery pack. And very importantly, the next important component is EV gearbox. Usually, the EV gearbox is a single speed only. Sometimes it is we may need a two speed. Okay, so mainly 99.95 percentage and above, it is having a single speed only, because there is no need of any gear arrangement. Automatically, drive controller itself capable of adjusting the speed of motor. So I am not able. I need not to transfer this to a gearbox arrangement where the speed conversion take place like a conventional mechanism. So automatically the wear and tear and implementing the gear and other things is totally averted, totally prevented here. So no need of anything. So in some places, in some cases, we may need two speed, okay, gearbox arrangement. And another important and high cost equipment is battery pack. In any electrical vehicle, hybrid electrical vehicle, if you see the battery pack will be the very high cost, which is varying around 48 to 450 voltage. As I already told, the battery pack is not only consist of a latest lithium-ion battery, it is also having ultra capacitor battery, lead acid batteries also will be there. Okay, fuel cell run vehicle also is there, but fuel cell run vehicle will be very much applicable to the very huge multi-axle vehicle only, trucks and buses, where we can able to store, okay, contain, okay, that particular hydrogen fuel very safely. But whereas a smaller space specification vehicle, we cannot able to store it in a very effective and safety manner. And finally, the real-time monitor. The real-time monitor. So that is additionally it need, especially for electrical vehicle and all, GPRS, GPS is must, because state of charge. Suppose if you are traveling from a plane, okay, plane to a hills area, so automatically the temperature changes will be much. So because of that, if your BMS system is not working, automatically you may be stuck up, or you may be with the state of charge very less and end up in a one point. So where we need tracking of the particular vehicle also is must GPS and GPRS mobile app, okay, and driver and fleet aid, USB and other SD card and other entertainment electronics inside there. That is also need. So if you see that in any electrical vehicle, hybrid electrical vehicle, these 6 components are must apart from the in case of hybrid electrical vehicle, apart from the existing internal combustion engine. Okay, so that has to be to elaborate. So we will see the 3 components and the architecture. What are all the for hybrid electrical vehicle architecture in next class? Any clarification? Any clarification?